So, as Jamar mentioned, I'm going to be talking to you about 7 big problems in the industry before I get into the 3 secrets that you need to know to generate more revenue. Let me reposition myself. Okay, so issue number one or problem number one that I find is that there is a lack of knowledge and thorough understanding of just every aspect of PMU, whether that is understanding the skin, understanding the tools that we're using, these various techniques that are always growing and developing and changing. It's everything is moving so quickly that it's and you're so things are moving quickly, but you're also only as knowledgeable as the trainer that taught you. So if they don't have the information, then neither do you, right? You have to go out there and search for it. And sometimes there's misinformation being shared. Sometimes it is true information, but how do you really know, with with how much the industry is changing? So just a lack of knowledge and thorough understanding. Do you all feel like that? Can anyone relate to always having a question mark? Even when you do a good brow, you're still not totally sure if it was the best brow, if that was the best pigment, if the depth was the best, if the machine could have been better, if I should have used a different machine speed. Do you always feel like there's a looming question mark around your work? Tell me if you agree. Mo said me. Jess said, I'm totally confused about brows. Jennifer, definitely. Carmen, yes. So I'm totally confused and I don't feel confident with my brows. Jess, Erin said, yes. Lynette, yes. And gatekeeping. So, yes. So there's so much of that. You feel like there are people who are in the know, and then most of us are not in the know, and we're just like, and you kind of feel like it's a ploy. I'm just gonna be transparent. You feel like you don't know who to trust because then you feel like, okay, well, when they divulge this information, there's going to be a now you need to buy, or so you always feel like is it genuine or not? Is always that question. Okay, so I got a lot of great feedback. I can tell you all are really resonating with what I'm saying. So the trainings also, you don't feel like you walk away knowing everything that you need to know. So I already know that this is a major issue. I see it everywhere on the forums. I see it in my DMs. And, some of it rightfully so, especially in America, trainings are very short. You get a 1, 2, 3 day, 4 day, even a week-long training. And tattoo artists, they do long apprenticeships, etc. So, if the trainings are shorter periods of time and the brain capacity is not at 100%, we don't have that ability to retain all the information that we receive. Some things are going to be lost. Some things are going to be missed. Aaron said we need to raise the standard. We spend a lot of money on courses that don't deliver. And Lynette says, I second that emotion. She agrees. Most said 2 days, not learning anything. I agree. I definitely agree. And there are a lot of reasons why some of these things happened. We'll get into a little bit of it later, but ultimately trying to align with trainers that align with you can sometimes be challenging, as well as when you talk about the money that we spend. So, all of it costs money. It costs money to train and it costs money to produce these materials, but you want to make sure that when you are paying these monies that you're getting the return that you anticipated. Aaron said it's terrible. So yes, I completely understand. This is a huge problem in our industry. Pigment science. Do you all feel like you don't have enough understanding of pigments? And there's a new pigment coming out every other day. um it can be very challenging. So I get it. I understand. I'm right there with you. I've been there, literally have been there and have had so many aha moments and really try to share a lot of that. I don't do it as much socially as I used to because it just becomes a little bit overwhelming, but there is a science, there is a path and a gateway, and I really look forward to sharing more of that with you. Miss Shayla says, Yes, there is so much information on pigments, and I don't know what's accurate or not. And there is a system to really understanding pigment science where you don't feel like everything that pops up is going to confuse you. I literally had to correct someone not long ago on making some comments about what a macrophage cell does to pigments. And that this person is like a world-renowned trainer. They have amazing work, but they were putting out the wrong information. And I had to correct them. And it wasn't a bad thing. It's great because it's going to help that person as well as others in the industry understand what is really happening with pigment in the skin. Aaron, you said you saw that post. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that because people come off as thought leaders, what they're saying, you can take it as gold, and it may not be golden. It could be brass. It could be something that's going to hurt you in the long run. So it's really important to get the right information from the right sources. Aaron, you said in Australia with our sun strength, it's a concern. Don't want my brows to ash out. Oh, that's a major issue. Number 4 is cookie cutter approaches to PMU. While systems are good, some people are very linear in their thinking, like, I need to know, tell me the system, tell me how to get to point B or how to get to point D, or, you know, A, B, C, D is going to lead me here. But honestly, skin is not like that. Human beings are not like that. We are all different. And the more varied your approach is, the more tools you know, the more information you have stored in here, I like to call them weapons. The more weapons you have to attack, the better suited you are to address any type of client that comes to you. So yes, it's harder when you don't have just one method. It just, you have to do more work, but it's also very exciting because it doesn't get exhausting. It doesn't become mundane, right? So it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps clients coming through your doors when you don't have that approach. All right, a limited knowledge about PMU tools. So a lot of people don't even understand the mechanics of a machine, the mechanics of a cartridge needle. You just know Lucy Lou's using it. She loves this machine. She told me this was great. I took this class. This is what they gave me, and this is what I'm using. A lot of people don't know why they're using the things that they're using. And it could be hurting them. It could be a good thing. So it's not always bad, but that limited knowledge can hinder your growth. Mo, you said that's me. I understand. So a lack of drive to get better. Uh-oh. Now this one is something that is really on the ownership of the artist. So we put a lot of ownership and, attention on the trainers and the companies. But a lot of the time, the information is there. This is how I've gotten the information because I needed to know. I wasn't satisfied with not knowing, but some people are. Some people do want just a quick method, or they want you to tell them. And some things you can't tell a person. So with that whole gatekeeping thing, I am on both sides of that. I feel that, yes, while some things you should be able to share, just because it should be common knowledge that a blowout exists. I've taken a class and I asked an instructor, have you ever heard of a blowout? Has that ever happened to you? And she said no. And I know that that is not possible, that in her entire career, she's never had a blowout because things are always changing and developing. And she'd been in the industry like 10, 12 years. So I know she's had some challenges. We've all had challenges. So yeah, so there is some gatekeeping when it doesn't make sense because people don't want to show that they may have a flaw, but some knowledge you do need to pay for. I'm just going to be very honest. We can't give everything away because it's not fair to those of us who dig deep if we're always just giving everything away because some artists are lazy. I'm just going to call it out. Some people out there are lazy. I'm not saying it's any of you. That's why you're here, because you want the information. You are driven to get better. But there are artists who aren't. So I just want to call that out. I go to a lot of other countries and they compete. They dig, they strive, they knock themselves down and they get back up. They will not accept defeat. And I really want more artists to have that kind of mindset. I don't even always have it as much as I want to. I had a trainer tell me one day, "Oh, if I'm not practicing," and she's like a master. Like, I didn't even think that she did this. She's like, if I don't practice 30 minutes a day, I feel like I'm losing my skill, even after all these years. So this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, like when it's about constantly getting better. All right, a lack of healed results showcase. And this is across the board in PMU. We don't see this enough. We do not see healed work enough. I've been yelling this out since 2016. I'm going to continue to shout this out because this is so important. It's important for artists to see it so they have true expectations of what this work actually should look like. And it's great for customers as well. So they're not getting these false expectations as well, which then comes back on the artist. All right, Aaron, we're needing the knowledge to problem solve when I think you're meaning like when your own work doesn't necessarily come out the way you want it to, it helps you to problem solve. I totally agree. So more knowledge will help you attack different issues that may arise even as you're doing the service. Great point, Aaron. All right, so this is a system. So a lack of knowledge equals inconsistent execution, or added to inconsistent execution, you get underwhelming results, right? You may not even post a lot of your work, and you're going to lose out on revenue potential. You know, have you guys ever turned a client away? Have you ever, referred? I've had so many of my students refer clients to me that they didn't want to take because they didn't want to deal with the client. Not that they couldn't, because we discuss it, but they just didn't want to take it on because they didn't feel confident enough. So they hand it to me, and I'm like, this is money that you're losing. Thank you, but these are clients that you should be servicing. So I don't want that. I want everyone making more revenue, not less, not turning potential opportunities away. All right. So